Woo. Thanks for joining us. My name is Ryan Fagan, and I'm here to talk about the Andrew Street Bicycle Boulevard project. And if you have a moment, we would really appreciate it if you could take a quick self-identification survey to help us get a better idea of who we're hearing from. We'll drop a link in the Q&A box, and you can also use your smartphone camera to scan the QR code on the screen to take you to the survey. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this project and the context. The Andrew Street Bicycle Boulevard project is about more than improving the route for bicyclists, despite the name. The project will improve safety for everyone who uses the street by slowing and reducing cut-through traffic and making it easier for people walking and biking to cross busy streets. So what is a bicycle boulevard? Well, it's a traffic calm neighborhood street where people of all ages and abilities can feel comfortable biking and walking. So while it's called a bicycle boulevard and it's designed to provide a low stress alternative to biking on busy streets, the improvements will bring safety and livability benefits to all roadway users and people who live along the route. So bicycle boulevards use a collection of relatively low-cost features to calm traffic and make it easier for people biking and walking to cross busy streets. These elements include speed humps, neighborhood traffic circles, landscape curb extensions, wayfinding signage, and pavement markings, 20-mile-an-hour speed limit signs, and push-button crossings at major streets. Some of these features, such as traffic circles and curb extensions, also provide opportunities to plant trees and shrubs that can add shade, beautify the street, and help mitigate spot flooding. So this project is funded by Proposition 407. Tucson delivers Parks and Connections, which was a bond package passed by Tucson voters in 2018 to improve city parks, including access to parks. So this map shows all the Proposition 407 connections projects. The blue lines on this map are bicycle safety and mobility projects, the majority of which are funded by bicycle boulevards. The Andrew Street Bicycle Boulevard is a bicycle safety and mobility project, and you can see it's in this area. And it provides connections to 8 parks, 6 schools, and 1 library, and it has an estimated design and construction cost of about $1.2 million. So together with the funded greenways and shared use paths, you can start to see how Proposition 407 projects will create a network of low-stress bikeways that will connect schools, parks, jobs, and neighborhoods throughout the city. This project was also included in the City of Tucson's Bicycle Boulevard Master Plan, which was adopted by the Mayor and City Council in 2017. So the Andrew Street Bicycle Boulevard is about 5.5 miles long. It'll be improved from the Barasa Aviation Bikeway near Tucson Boulevard to just east of Wilmot Road at Calle Betelgeuse. The photos here show a typical view of existing conditions along Andrew Street. So it's pretty typical residential roadways. The project crosses major streets where there are not currently any traffic signals, and that includes Swan and Wilmot. As part of the project, new push-button crossings for people walking and biking will be installed at major streets, and existing crossings at Alvernon and Craycroft will be upgraded to work better for people on bikes. So one important thing that we really want to hear from you about is the route of the Bicycle Boulevard between Alvernon Way and Columbus Boulevard. We heard some concerns about the originally planned route, so we're proposing 2 additional options. Alternative A, shown here, is the route of the project shown in the Bicycle Boulevard Master Plan. From west to east, this crosses Alvernon at the location of the existing hawk crossing here. This will be upgraded to a bike hawk to provide easy usage for people walking and biking across Alvernon. On the east side of Alvernon, there will be a 2-way path that will connect to the alley just north of the Chatterbox Bar. The route will take that alley to 26th Street and continue east to Fair Oaks Avenue and down to Sylvain Drive and onto Columbus. Alternative B will cross Alvernon at the Bike Hawk and then head south on a two-way path to Sylvain Drive. And then we'll follow the path shown here in pink, mainly along 27th Street with short jogs on Montezuma, Irving, and Fair Oaks. And then alternative C is the same as alternative B, except that it uses Sylvain Drive instead of 27th Street. So the benefit of alternative A is that it's shorter and it crosses fewer driveways than alternatives B and C. However, we've heard that Luke's and the Chatterbox, which the route passes by, can be very busy with lots of cars and motorcycles going in and out of their parking lots. While the businesses to the south that alternative B and C go by, they have less traffic and they may be more comfortable to navigate on a bike. Additionally, we've heard concerns with alternative A because part of the route uses the alley with limited visibility. So we want to know what you think. So please be sure to take the survey. We'll post a link to that at the end and let us know which option you like the best. One other exciting thing we're looking at incorporating into this project is green stormwater infrastructure. I mentioned a little bit about stormwater harvesting and traffic circles and that sort of thing. Tucson Water has a program that provides funding to build and maintain green stormwater infrastructure. You can see a few examples on this slide. We've got a big bump out here that's landscaped. We've got a chicane here and a landscape traffic circle. So these improvements put rain and stormwater runoff to beneficial use irrigating plants. They reduce stormwater pollution. They shade and cool streets, sidewalks, bikeways, and parking areas. They beautify neighborhoods. They provide an affordable alternative to building and maintaining expensive underground stormwater infrastructure. So we're planning several improvements on this project that will combine traffic calming with stormwater harvesting. You can see them labeled on the project plans. My colleague, Xochitl Coronado Vargas from Tucson Water, will talk a little bit more about the program shortly. So right now, we are looking to you for feedback on the design of the project so we can make improvements and finish up the design of the project later this year. We anticipate that design will be complete by mid to late 2022 and that construction will start toward the end of this year or in early 2023. In addition to virtual meetings like this, we'd love to meet with your neighborhood association or other community groups about this project. We want to make sure that everyone has a chance to provide their input. So we hope you'll visit the project website and take our survey. It's open now and will be open until February 6th. So this survey will help us understand public opinion about issues and potential improvements. You can also find information on Proposition 407 and sort of general Bike Boulevard information. And I just want to do a quick side note here. The Department of Transportation and Mobility is always available to take care of any maintenance issues on our city streets. If there's a pothole that's been bothering you, if there's a tree branch blocking the street, or if there's any other maintenance concern that comes up, please report it to us. You can call and report to 520-791-3154, or you can email t.concerns, that's TDOT concerns, @tucsonaz.gov, or you can submit a service request form to our website, and we'll put all this information in the Q&A box. And with that, I'm actually going to pass it over to my colleague Xochitl with Tucson Water, and she'll talk a little bit about the green stormwater infrastructure as part of this project. Xochitl.
Thanks, Ryan. Let me try to get my PowerPoint. Can you see that there? All right. So my name is Xochitl Coronado Vargas, and I'm from the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Program with the City of Tucson. Green stormwater is what many people here in Tucson know as passive water harvesting. It's a practice of designing the urban landscape to divert stormwater runoff from streets, parking lots, and, oh, sorry. Can you guys still see my screen?
I can see it.
I lost my screen. 1 second. Should I start from the top because you're recording?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Xochitl Coronado Vargas, and I work with the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Program with the City of Tucson. Green stormwater infrastructure is basically the design in the urban area of putting in these structures that collect water to direct stormwater runoff from streets, parking lots, and rooftops into landscaped vegetated areas where the water will infiltrate into the soil and support vegetation. Some of the benefits of green stormwater infrastructure is that one of the biggest benefits is that it'll shade and cool neighborhoods, which then promotes recreation and mobility, improves the air quality, reduces some of the flooding on the street, which helps extend the pavement life. One second. Okay. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here. Okay, so the GSI program was created by Mayor and Council in 2020 for two purposes. One is to maintain existing GSI within the City of Tucson, and the other reason would be to install new GSI within the City of Tucson. The maintenance portion of the program has a budget of about $300,000 per year, while the capital improvements program, which installs new GSI features, has $300,000 per ward per year, and an additional $300,000 that the mayor can allocate wherever she sees fit. The program is funded by a small charge on City of Tucson water customers, and the charge comes out to approximately $1 per month per residence. So the way that we select and prioritize new projects in green stormwater infrastructure is that we try to incorporate or collaborate with existing improvement projects, either in parks or with the Department of Transportation Mobility, like bike boulevards, just like what's happening here with Andrew Street, and additionally with Pima County flood control projects. Another way that we prioritize is by using a tool called the Tree Equity Score. And the Tree Equity Score is based on existing tree canopy in the City of Tucson, along with other demographic and socioeconomic data. So this is a map of the City of Tucson Tree Equity Scores. If you notice, you can see 22nd Street kind of along the center of the city. The top boundary there is roughly around where river runs. And if you can see that the highest tree equity are shaded in green and white, and then the lowest tree equity scores are shaded in tan and brown. And there's a lot of tan and brown spots, primarily in areas that have been historically disinvested in the City of Tucson, which tend to be south of 22nd Street and west of the freeway, excuse me. So we really are trying to focus our investment of green infrastructure in those areas. Why? Well, the not having enough trees leads to what is called a urban heat island effect, which occurs when cities replace natural land cover with dense concentrations of pavement, buildings, and other surfaces that absorb and retain heat. We know for sure that in areas that have more vegetation, especially tree canopy, there tends to be lower temperatures. There was a study done here in Tucson that demonstrates, and there's a map online somewhere if you Google it, that demonstrates this very obviously. There's the temperature differences can be up to 10 degrees in areas that have higher tree canopy versus areas that have low tree canopy. So the way that we propose doing this is by addressing two critical areas of need in the community, which is increasing urban tree canopy and vegetation, and at the same time conserving our precious water resources. And this is really important in Tucson because we're in the desert and we're in a historical drought. So planting trees is a great idea to mitigate urban heat island effect, but if we're utilizing a lot of water, it also causes us to be using a lot of our potable water resources. So rainwater is just such a great way to utilize something that we already get as a resource and not tap into our potable water system. So here's a couple of examples. This is Melbourne Plaza. It's a little pocket park that is built to capture rainwater with it has some curb cuts on both the street that you see right in front of us and then in the back of the little pocket park. And water runs down that street and goes into the park and irrigates the landscape. It also shades the sidewalk and helps prevent the asphalt in the street from deteriorating. This is the chicane, or a curb bump out, and water also flows through the chicane. It infiltrates, and whatever's left over just goes to the next chicane on this street. There's tons of them right along the south kind of neighborhood of the U of A. And traffic circles, of course, they really help with traffic calming and pedestrian safety. This one has like a flush curb that allows the water to enter and irrigate the vegetation inside. We have a website. It's tucsonaz.gov/GSI, and you can follow us on our Facebook at Green Stormwater Infrastructure Tucson, or Instagram page at GSI_Tucson.
Thanks so much, Xochitl. Let me share my screen again real quick. Provide my contact information here. So with that, we're happy to take your questions, as either Xochitl or I, depending on the nature of your question. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question that way as well.
So far, no questions in the chat box.
Thanks. It looks like somebody might be typing something. Okay, I see a question here from Carrie. I heard there's a proposed roundabout at 27th and City. Can we get a tree in that area? That's a very good question. I'd have to look at the map on that one. So I believe we are planning a traffic circle at that location. Whenever possible, we do try to include trees and other landscaping. One thing that we have to work with is the sewer lines that run underneath the roads. Most residential streets in central Tucson have sewer lines running down the middle and manholes in the middle of intersections or close to it. So we have, I believe it's 16 feet that we have to keep a clear space. No trees can be planted within 16 feet of a manhole. Unfortunately, that means that usually when there's a manhole in an intersection, that we can't put a tree in. And I believe that's the case for 27th and City. Now, what we can do is we can put in other kinds of landscaping. We can put in cacti and shrubs and succulents. We often try to put in things like ocotillo or other things that have some height to them, so that even though there isn't necessarily a tree, it has more of a visual presence than if it were just low-lying vegetation. You're welcome. Yeah, I have a question here. It says, is there a place where we can see all the proposed details? Map? Yes. So on the project website, there is a link to a PDF of the concept plan for the bike boulevard. So that shows all of the major features that we're proposing right now. So that includes the existing hawks that'll be upgraded to bike hawks, the new bike hawks, the traffic circles, speed humps, chicanes, other water harvesting features. Right now we're in an early stage of design, so we don't have a lot of details. So for example, we don't have landscape plans for things like traffic circles and other elements. So once we gather feedback from this stage of the design, we'll incorporate that, and then we'll start on more complicated engineering and landscape architecture design. But right now you can go to the project website, and which I believe, you know what, I think that may not have been dropped in the chat actually, but it's not, if you came here from the project website, it's just, you just got to scroll down and there's a link to it. Let me find a link to that, drop it in the chat. Yeah, that's a very good point, Everin. We do have 2 more events coming up this weekend. There's one at Harriet Johnson Park on Saturday from 11 to 1. Great. Yeah, and so we'll have a big 12-foot long roll plot showing the entire plans, and you can look over that. And we'd also encourage you, if you have thoughts or comments you want to share, we're going to have little post-it notes, and you can put your ideas on the map as well. So one more question. It's Carrie says that she's so excited. By the way, how else can you or anyone help? That's a great question. You know, I'd say just spread the word. This is a funded project. It's happening, but you know, the details of it, you know, those are still in flux, I guess I would say. So, you know, we rely on members of the community to let us know, you know, what works in the area, what issues they're seeing in their neighborhood, or you know, along the route if they're already using it to walk or bike. And once we have that information, we can incorporate it into the design. So, you know, I would really just encourage you, take the survey, come to the meetings, please share it with anybody who you think would be interested. The more input we get, the better. Thank you for your questions. We don't have anything else. Might hang out here for just another minute or so, see if anybody else shows up, but otherwise I think we'll wrap it up, and then we will have the Spanish version of this presentation at 7 o'clock.